Let me take you somewhere for a moment. Imagine you're standing in a dimly lit hallway. There are no alarms, no flames, nothing is collapsing on you, just a faint dripping sound in the distance. Can you hear it? Nothing urgent. No, there's nothing dangerous. Just enough background noise that you get used to it. You tell yourself it's fine, it's not that serious. But what you don't see is behind the walls, quietly, slowly, is water spreading, wood rotting, foundation weakening. No explosion, no disaster, just quiet decay. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people's lives don't fall apart because of the big things. They fall apart because of the small things that they got used to. The dripping, the tolerating, the I'll fix it later. The it's not bad, it's good enough. Good enough is the hallway you stand in without realizing the walls are weakening around you. Good enough is the slow leak that feels harmless until one day the ceiling caves in. Good enough is comfortable, but it's quietly killing you. And if you're honest, you felt it. The quiet dissatisfaction, that internal pressure, that sense that you're living beneath your potential, but not badly enough for anyone else to notice. Today, we're hitting the light switch. This is part 1 of our 4-part series on the hidden costs. And today is your awakening. Because once you hear the leak, once you see what it's doing to the internal system, you can't go back to pretending that you don't hear it. Nobody sets out to settle. Nobody wakes up and decide, hey, today I'll shrink. Settling doesn't feel like a decision, it feels like a drift. One skipped workout, one ignored intuition, one I'll start Monday, one dream postponed just until things calm down, because you know things always calm down. A woman once wrote a letter to her future self. In it, she listed all of the things that she wanted to change. She said, I want to get healthy, I want to write a book, I want to start a business, and I want to stop settling. She wrote it down, put the letter in a drawer. 10 years later, she found it, and almost nothing had changed. Not because life had been catastrophic, but because nothing bad enough had happened to force her towards movement. And so the question that I have to stop and ask you is, has your life become a collection of things you tolerated? That's the drift. It is the slow, invisible slide from I want more to this is fine, it's all right. Every time you say it's not that bad, you lower your standard by an inch. And every time you say I'll deal with it later, you hand tomorrow a weight that it wasn't built to hold. And what ends up happening is inch by inch, quietly and without resistance, you become someone living a life that you never consciously chose. And I want you to hear me when I say this. Every tolerance is a teacher, because in life you fall to the level of what you're willing to tolerate. So where have you drifted? Where has later become never? Where did I'll fix it turn into, well, I guess this is who I am now? Comfort is sneaky. And it's sneaky because it doesn't feel like the enemy, it feels like relief. It feels like predictability, like safety, like convenience. At least nothing's fallen apart. The building isn't on fire. But here's a perspective that I would offer you. Is it possible that comfort isn't peace, rather sedation? Because what it does is it numbs you, it lulls you to sleep. It tells you, hey, hang out here. It's warm, it's familiar, it's comfortable. But comfort comes at a cost. Your confidence erodes, your creativity begins to dim, your ambition falls asleep, and your potential becomes dusty. I read a story about a man who lived near a busy train track. At first, the noise was unbearable. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't think. But after weeks, he stopped noticing. The train didn't get quieter. He just got used to the noise. That's what settling does. Your dreams are still banging on the track. Your potential is still rattling the walls. Your soul is still making noise and crying out for more. You just learned to ignore it. And the thing is, comfort doesn't feel dangerous, but that's what actually makes it dangerous. The snake that bites you isn't the loud one. It's the one that's curled up quietly in the corner, waiting for you to fall asleep. So where in your life have you become comfortable with discomfort? Where have you begun to normalize that noise? Where have you told yourself that this is just the way it is, when deep down you know this is not who I am? Settling is stealing from your life. Settling isn't neutral. It isn't harmless. It's not passive. It takes things from you. And what it takes is precious. So you say, okay, Smalls, what does settling steal? Well, the first thing settling steals is your potential. There's a version of you that could have existed. Braver, sharper, more fulfilled. But settling keeps them locked behind the glass. And every time you choose comfort over growth, you choose the person you are over the person you could have been. The next thing settling steals is your momentum. Momentum comes from movement, but settling comes from a pause. And the longer you stay paused, the heavier it becomes to start again. The next thing settling steals is your self-trust, because you start breaking promises to yourself. And each time you break a promise to yourself, the song of tomorrow becomes easier to sing. And without self-trust, you'll never build anything lasting. Another thing settling steals from you is your creativity. Creativity requires curiosity, and curiosity requires aliveness. But settling replaces both with repetition. The next thing settling steals is your calling. Your purpose demands effort. Your calling, it demands courage. Your potential demands pursuit. While settling don't ask for any of it. And that's why it wins. Quietly, then slowly, then permanently. And ultimately, settling steals your peace. And I want you to hear this. This is something that I had to learn. Pretending you're okay when you're not is emotional debt. And baby, you will pay interest. You're gonna pay that interest in anxiety and frustration and numbness and the quiet ache of, man, I know I'm meant for more. You pay interest in a certain level of discomfort and maybe even pain. But if you allow it, pain can create clarity, and clarity can create movement. So how do we wake up? How does our identity break open? Every transformation begins with the moment you wake up, the moment the fog lifts, the moment you realize, hey, I don't have to live like this anymore. I remember once leading a team and being frustrated with their performance, being frustrated with the way they were behaving. And then one day my mentor asked me, well, Smalls, who's in charge? Me. I'm in charge. And the good thing about you being in charge, that means that you can take ownership and actually do something about it, because it's not a people problem, it's a leadership problem. And this ain't got nothing to do with the hidden costs, it's just good. Every problem in your life is a leadership problem. You know what? Let me write that down for a future video. But transformation happens the moment you wake up. The moment you feel something inside you whisper, this is not who I am. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror, not a mirror in your bathroom, a mirror you avoid, the one in your mind. In that mirror, you see two versions of you, the version living good enough, the version you were meant to become. And for the first time, you see the trap, because this is a trap. And it's a trap because if you can get stuck in the land of good enough, you will never go after the land of everything that you were destined to be. So the first time you notice that trap, you wake up. And you don't wake up with judgment. You don't wake up with shame or with disappointment, but you wake up with awareness. And in that moment, you stop sleepwalking. I'm talking about the moment you realize that you've been drifting, the moment your identity starts to rise, and something inside you begins to say, I'm done settling. I'm done living at 30% of my power. This is the moment the old story cracks. And through the crack, the true identity, your true identity begins to shine through. And if you feel what I'm saying, I want you to say out loud after me, I'm done settling, and I'm choosing to rise into all I'm meant to be. Say it with your chest. Say it until your nervous system believes you. Say it until your future self hears you and starts moving. And I leave you with this. Good enough is the silent killer of potential. It doesn't take your life. It just takes the best parts of your life. One compromise at a time, one tolerance at a time, one quiet surrender at a time. But today you heard the drip and saw the leak. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. No longer will you go back pretending. No longer will you be able to go back to drifting. No longer will you be okay with fine, because you weren't built for fine. You weren't built for good enough. You weren't built to simply get by. You were built for growth, stewardship, and purpose. You were built to create impact and rise into the identity that's waiting on you. And this is only part one. This is the awakening next time we start breaking the patterns. Before you go, I want you to declare publicly, not for me, but for you. In the comments, what's one area that you've been settling for good enough? And what standard are you raising instead? Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you. I'll see you on the next one.